You cannot improve your heart health if you're still eating these nuts. Have you ever felt like your energy is fading faster than it used to? Or maybe you've noticed some little aches and pains that weren't there before. If you're over 60, you're not alone. Aging brings changes to our bodies. And while some of these changes are inevitable, many of them can be influenced by the choices we make every day. What we eat, for example, plays a huge role in how we feel, and especially how our hearts hold up over time. Now, I'm sure you've heard the saying, "You are what you eat," but as we age, it's more accurate to say that you are how your heart responds to what you eat. If you've been snacking on certain foods, thinking they're harmless or even healthy, you might be unknowingly damaging your heart. That's right, some foods, especially those we tend to eat regularly, can slowly weaken your heart and increase the risk of serious health issues like stroke or heart attack. In this video, I want to focus on one particular group of foods: nuts. Nuts have long been considered a healthy snack, especially for seniors. But there's a catch. Some nuts that seem harmless or even heart healthy are actually doing more harm than good. So, I am begging you, if you're over 60, please stop eating these specific types of nuts that are slowly destroying your heart. Let's start with the first one: honey roasted peanuts. These little snacks seem innocent enough, right? They're often sitting on your coffee table, in a bowl, within easy reach. Many seniors enjoy them as a quick snack during their favorite TV show or while waiting for dinner. You might think they're a better option compared to chips or candy, and in some ways, they are. But here's the thing: honey roasted peanuts are coated with refined sugar, salt, and often hydrogenated oils. These ingredients might not seem like a big deal in small amounts, but over time, they're doing a lot of damage to your heart. Refined sugar and salt cause inflammation in your arteries, which can eventually lead to high blood pressure and clogged arteries. The hydrogenated oils commonly found in these peanuts are a type of trans fat, which is known to raise your LDL cholesterol, also called the bad cholesterol. When LDL cholesterol builds up, it contributes to plaque formation in your arteries. This narrowing of the arteries increases your risk for stroke and heart attack. For seniors, the effects are even more pronounced. After 60, your metabolism slows down, and your body becomes more sensitive to sugar and salt. Your blood vessels aren't as flexible as they once were, making them more vulnerable to damage. The problem is that this innocent handful of honey-roasted peanuts, which you may snack on daily, is like a slow drip of damage to your heart that adds up over time. So what's the solution? It's really simple. Switch to dry, roasted, unsalted peanuts. They don't have any coatings, no hidden sugars, no extra oils. Just pure, simple peanuts. The change is small, but it could make a big difference in protecting your heart over the years. Now that we've talked about honey-roasted peanuts, let's move on to another common snack: salted mixed nuts. These might look like a healthier choice, especially if the packaging says things like heart healthy or smart snacking. But here's the thing: many of the mixed nuts you find in convenient bags or tins are coated with way more salt than you think. And after the age of 60, your body's ability to process salt becomes weaker. This means that even a little extra salt can have a big impact on your heart. Salt causes your body to retain water, which puts pressure on your arteries and forces your heart to work harder. Over time, this added strain can lead to high blood pressure and contribute to heart failure. What's concerning is that many people snack on salted mixed nuts without thinking about how much salt they're actually consuming. It's easy to mindlessly reach for the tin while watching TV or chatting on the phone, but those little handfuls of salted mixed nuts can add up quickly. Before you know it, you've consumed more salt than your heart can handle for the entire day. The good news is there's an easy fix. Instead of salted mixed nuts, opt for raw or dry roasted unsalted versions. You can even add your own seasoning like herbs or a sprinkle of cinnamon, for extra flavor without all that sodium. By making this simple change, you're helping to protect your heart from the inside out. But the danger doesn't stop there. There's another nut that's often marketed as a healthy indulgence: chocolate-covered nuts. These might seem like a clever way to satisfy your sweet tooth while still getting the benefits of nuts. After all, nuts have protein and fiber, and chocolate has antioxidants, right? So how bad could they be? Well, unfortunately, chocolate-covered nuts are one of the most deceptive snacks out there. While the nuts themselves can be healthy, the chocolate that covers them is usually packed with added sugars, processed fats, and refined oils. These ingredients can spike your insulin levels, thicken your blood, and trigger inflammation in your arteries. The real danger comes when chocolate-covered nuts are eaten regularly. It's easy to convince yourself that it's a healthy choice because you're eating nuts, but the added sugar and unhealthy fats are working against your heart health. Over time, this can contribute to weight gain around your midsection, visceral fat, which is a major risk factor for heart disease. So what's the better option? If you really enjoy chocolate, consider having a small square of dark chocolate, 70% cocoa or higher, paired with a few raw almonds. That's a treat that won't betray your heart. You can still indulge a little, but with far less risk to your cardiovascular system. Now, we've covered honey-roasted peanuts, salted mixed nuts, and chocolate-covered nuts. But what about packaged trail mixes? These may seem like a healthy snack option, especially when you see the colorful packaging and the promises of energy-boosting ingredients. But the reality is, most store-bought trail mixes are packed with sugar-drenched raisins, candied fruits, and salted nuts. These ingredients not only spike your blood sugar, but they also contribute to inflammation in your arteries. Packaged trail mixes often have a lot more sugar and salt than you think. And when you combine these with dried fruits that are preserved with sugar syrups or yogurt-covered pieces, it's a recipe for trouble. The end result? Your triglycerides go up, your blood sugar spikes, and your arteries get inflamed. The better option? Make your own trail mix with raw almonds, walnuts, and a handful of unsweetened dried berries. This way, you control exactly what goes into your snack. It's a healthier, heart-friendly alternative that's just as delicious, but without all the harmful additives. Now that we've talked about a few of the most common nut-based snacks, you're probably wondering, what's the bottom line here? The truth is, many of the nuts we eat every day, thinking they're healthy, are slowly but surely damaging our hearts. But don't worry, there are simple, healthier alternatives out there that can help protect your heart and improve your overall health. I hope you're finding this information helpful, and if you're still with me, I'm so glad. Let's continue exploring more heart-healthy changes you can make with your nut choices in the next part of this video. Now that we've covered some of the most common nut-related snacks that might be doing more harm than good, let's dive into a few more that could be silently sabotaging your heart. Remember, it's not about cutting out all nuts, but being mindful of how they're prepared and the impact they have on your health. These small changes can have a big effect on your long-term well-being. So let's talk about flavored almonds, barbecue, wasabi, ranch, and all those other exciting flavors. These might sound fun, right? A little spice, a little kick, and suddenly snacking doesn't feel so boring. But here's the thing. While almonds themselves are a great source of healthy fats and protein, these flavored versions are usually coated in artificial seasonings, high levels of sodium, sugar, and chemical preservatives. And these coatings aren't just a minor issue. They can quietly wreak havoc on your cardiovascular system. The high sodium content in these flavored almonds can contribute to inflammation, raise your blood pressure, and cause water retention. These are the same effects we talked about earlier with salted mixed nuts. But with flavored almonds, you're also getting added sugars and artificial flavorings, which can further stress your heart. It's a toxic combination that can slowly erode your heart's health. You might be thinking, but I love the flavors. It makes the almonds more exciting. Well, there's good news. You can still enjoy flavored nuts without all the added harmful ingredients. Instead of reaching for the barbecue or wasabi-coated almonds, stick with raw or dry roasted unsalted almonds. You can add your own natural spices like turmeric, cinnamon, or even a sprinkle of rosemary for a flavorful and heart-healthy snack. This way, you get all the benefits of almonds without the dangerous additives. Now let's move on to something that seems like a luxury but could be doing more harm than you realize: cashews. These nuts have a rich, creamy texture that makes them feel like a real treat, and many people enjoy them regularly as a snack. But here's the catch. Cashews are naturally high in saturated fat, more so than many other commonly eaten nuts. And while a small amount of fat is perfectly fine, when you eat too many cashews, that fat adds up quickly, which can cause problems for your heart. As we age, our metabolism naturally slows down, and our arteries become less flexible. This means that even small excesses can start to have a bigger impact on our heart health. The problem with cashews is that many seniors are unaware of how easy it is to overeat them. The serving size for cashews is just about 1 ounce, or a small handful. But many people grab a whole handful or even more, especially when snacking straight from the container. Over time, this leads to weight gain, increased cholesterol, and unnecessary strain on your heart. What's the solution? Cashews aren't inherently bad for you, but they need to be eaten in moderation. Treat them like a special treat. Maybe enjoy them once or twice a week, not every day. And remember, a small handful is all you really need. If you're someone who loves cashews, try rotating them with other nuts like almonds or walnuts, which are richer in heart-healthy fiber. This will help keep your overall fat intake in balance and ensure that you're giving your heart the best possible support. Next, we're going to talk about something that's lurking in your pantry right now, and it's silently undoing all the good habits you've been trying to build. You've probably seen packaged nuts at the store labeled as lightly salted or roasted to perfection, and they look wholesome enough, right? But here's the kicker. Most of these nuts are roasted in vegetable oils like soybean, corn, or canola oil. These oils are inexpensive, mass-produced, and unfortunately packed with omega-6 fatty acids, which in large amounts can fuel chronic inflammation in your body. Now, inflammation is one of the leading causes of heart disease, and it's something that becomes even more concerning as we age. Your heart and arteries become more vulnerable to damage, and the last thing you want to do is eat foods that fuel this process. The oils used in many packaged nuts are refined and often come with added preservatives, which increase the inflammatory response in your body. As a result, you might be unknowingly adding to the buildup of plaque in your arteries, raising your blood pressure and putting strain on your heart. So what's the answer? Always check the labels of the nuts you buy. If they're roasted in vegetable oils, it's time to put them back on the shelf. You don't want to spend your money on nuts that are harming you in the long run. Instead, look for nuts that are dry roasted, or, better yet, roast them yourself at home using your own healthy oils, like olive oil, or just skip the oil altogether and enjoy them raw. If you're wondering why this matters so much, let me give you an example. I've treated so many seniors who are doing everything right, eating fresh fruits and vegetables, cutting back on sugar, and exercising regularly. But their inflammation markers stayed high. When we looked closely at their diet, we found that their daily handful of roasted nuts was actually soaked in these inflammatory oils. The result? All their other good habits weren't having the impact they should have been, because they were unknowingly sabotaging themselves with every bite of those roasted nuts. It may seem like a small thing, but it can make a big difference when it comes to your heart health. Small changes, like choosing raw, unsalted nuts or roasting them yourself, can help keep that dangerous inflammation at bay and protect your heart for years to come. Now that we've covered cashews, flavored almonds, and the dangers of vegetable oils, you're probably wondering, are all nuts bad for your heart? Absolutely not. But it's all about being mindful of how you choose, prepare, and eat them. The right nuts eaten in the right way can be one of the best heart-healthy snacks you can enjoy. In the next part of the video, we'll dive into even more tips on how to make healthier choices. So stick with me. I promise it's going to be worth it for your heart. Now that we've talked about the dangers of certain nuts and the sneaky ways they can affect your heart health, let's focus on how to make those small but impactful changes that can protect your heart in the long run. The truth is, nuts don't have to be the villain in your diet. In fact, when chosen and prepared correctly, they can be one of your best allies in maintaining a strong, healthy heart. So, let's talk about how you can enjoy nuts without putting your heart at risk. First, it's important to remember that raw and unsalted nuts are your best option. Whether it's almonds, walnuts, pistachios, or pecans, the natural form of these nuts provides you with a host of heart-healthy nutrients, healthy fats, fiber, antioxidants, and magnesium, all of which are known to support healthy blood pressure, reduce inflammation, and strengthen your arteries. When you eat nuts in their raw form without any added oils, salts, or sugar, your heart benefits from the purest, most beneficial nutrients. These nutrients are naturally designed to support your cardiovascular system. The omega-3 fatty acids in walnuts, for example, are proven to help reduce inflammation, lower blood pressure, and decrease cholesterol levels. Almonds and pistachios are rich in fiber and antioxidants, both of which are essential for keeping your arteries clean and your blood pressure stable. But I get it. Sometimes you want a little crunch or roasted flavor. If that's the case, go for dry roasted nuts. When you buy dry roasted nuts, you're getting the texture and flavor you're craving, but without the unhealthy oils that can lead to inflammation. And if you're feeling adventurous, why not try roasting your own nuts at home? It's simple. You can use your oven, a little bit of olive oil, and any seasoning you like, turmeric, cinnamon, or even rosemary, for a heart-healthy, homemade snack that tastes just as good as the store-bought versions, but without all the added chemicals and preservatives. When you do roast your own nuts, make sure you keep the portion sizes in check. It's easy to eat more than you realize when snacking mindlessly in front of the TV or while reading. So grab a small handful and savor each bite. You don't need to overdo it. A small serving of nuts, about 1 ounce, is all you need. This will give you the heart-healthy benefits without overloading your body with extra fats or calories. If you find it difficult to control your portions, another good tip is to pre-portion your snacks into small containers or bags. This simple step will prevent you from mindlessly munching on nuts all day long, ensuring that you're sticking to the proper portion size. And if you pair your nuts with fresh fruits, like berries or an apple, you'll get a balanced snack that's perfect for keeping your blood sugar stable and your heart happy. I also want to touch on something that's crucial: reading labels. This is key when it comes to nuts. The food industry knows how to make products seem healthy, but those labels can be deceiving. Words like natural, lightly salted, or heart healthy often mask the fact that those nuts are packed with added sugars, unhealthy oils, and preservatives. Always check the ingredient list. If you see things like vegetable oil, hydrogenated oils, or sugars, put the package back on the shelf. This is especially important when buying packaged trail mixes or flavored nuts. As we discussed earlier, trail mixes with candies, dried fruit, or salted nuts may seem like a healthy choice, but they're often loaded with added sugars and sodium. If you really enjoy trail mix, take the time to make your own at home. Mix raw almonds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, and a few unsweetened dried berries. You can even add a sprinkle of cinnamon for extra flavor. This way, you're in control of what goes into your snack, and you can be sure that you're not consuming anything harmful to your heart. Another key factor to remember is that moderation is key. Nuts, as heart-healthy as they are, still contain fats, and too much of any fat, even healthy ones, can be problematic. So, while nuts are a great snack, they should be enjoyed in moderation. Consider them an occasional treat, not something you eat by the handful every day. Now, let's talk about the power of variety. If you've been relying on just one type of nut, it's time to switch things up. Different nuts offer different nutrients that are beneficial for your heart. Walnuts, for example, are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are crucial for reducing inflammation and supporting heart health. Almonds are full of vitamin E, which helps to protect your arteries from oxidative stress. Cashews, while creamy and delicious, should be eaten in moderation, as we discussed, but they also provide important minerals like magnesium and zinc. By rotating your nuts, you're giving your heart a wider range of nutrients, and it keeps your snacking interesting. Lastly, I want to leave you with a little motivation. It's easy to think that small changes won't make a big difference, but that's simply not true. Every healthy choice you make, no matter how small, adds up over time. By switching to raw or dry-roasted unsalted nuts, watching your portion sizes, and avoiding the harmful additives in flavored or packaged nuts, you're actively protecting your heart and setting yourself up for a healthier future. Remember, it's never too late to make changes. You've already made the first step by watching this video, and I'm so proud of you for taking the time to learn and make adjustments. Your heart is counting on you, and it's never too late to start caring for it better. With small adjustments, you can continue to live a long, vibrant life, filled with the energy and joy you deserve. I hope these tips have been helpful, and if you found this information valuable, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below, and let me know what changes you're planning to make. Share this video with someone who could benefit from it, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more health tips that can help you live your best life at any age. Thank you so much for watching. Here's to a long, healthy life filled with strong, happy hearts.